GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Here are our top stories.
Mayor Valérie Plante announced Montreal will pursue reviving the Eastern REM extension, allocating $94 million for renewed studies after the original plan was shelved. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Mayor Valérie Plante told a crowd in East Montreal today that the city will move to revive the long-dormant eastern spur of the REM rapid transit system. Officials say the project, first sketched out years ago, was put on hold, but a fresh push aims to reconnect neighborhoods from the east side to the downtown core. The administration points to $94 million already spent on feasibility studies as a reason to press forward, arguing the work is ready to transition into design and construction phases. Plante emphasized the extension would improve commute times, create jobs, and integrate with existing bus routes, while city engineers will present a revised timeline next month. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Anjou.
Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada's administration joined the Centre de Services Scolaires de Montreal in publicly opposing the proposed construction of an additional school in Park Extension. City officials say they cannot move forward until the projected school age population growth for the neighborhood is verified. The CSSDM has submitted its own analysis, but municipal leaders argue the data are incomplete and that approving a new facility now could leave the city with excess capacity if growth stalls. The debate comes as the city reviews demographic trends and enrollment forecasts supplied by the school board. While supporters argue the neighborhood's dense immigrant community needs more classroom space, the mayor's office insists a thorough review is essential before any funding or permits are issued. The administration plans to release its findings by the end of September, after which the council will schedule a vote on the project.
Police responded to a call at a residential unit in Montreal's St. Mitchell district on Monday evening. Officers entered the apartment at approximately 5:41 p.m. and discovered a man and a woman who had been stabbed. Both victims were found inside the dwelling. Their current medical condition has not been released. Investigators have secured the scene and are conducting a homicide investigation. The incident is being treated as a serious violent crime, and detectives are canvassing the neighborhood for witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage. No arrests have been announced at this time. Authorities have asked anyone with information to contact the Montreal Police Department. The investigation remains ongoing. The identities of the two victims have not been released while families are being notified. Forensic teams are collecting evidence inside the apartment, and the investigation is being coordinated with the Sûreté du Québec. Police have also stepped up patrols in the St. Mitchell area.
Scientists at Polytechnique Montreal are growing animal proteins in a bubbling orange solution to strengthen Canada's pandemic preparedness, part of a national push to enhance biomedical response capabilities. Simon Fortier has the full story.
Scientists inside the Polytechnique Montreal lab are watching animal proteins grow in a bubbling orange solution, a step meant to shore up Canada's response capacity for the next pandemic. The experiment, part of a broader biomedical initiative, involves cultivating protein structures that could be used to develop rapid diagnostics or vaccine components. Researchers say the orange medium mimics the environment viruses need to replicate, allowing them to test how quickly a new pathogen might be detected. The work aligns with a national push to expand biomedical research programs aimed at strengthening pandemic preparedness across the country. The team expects the findings to feed into government planning and health security strategies. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Montreal.
Oliver Jones, the 91-year-old pianist who helped define Montreal's jazz sound, will be honored with a public funeral this evening at Union United Church in Little Burgundy. The service, scheduled for 8:06, will allow fans and fellow musicians to pay respects to the legend who first touched the church's organ at 5 years old. Jones passed away on July 22 after a lifetime of performances that earned him national and international acclaim. The church, a longtime fixture in the neighborhood, will host the ceremony, which is expected to draw a crowd that spans generations of jazz lovers. Family members, city officials, and representatives from the jazz community have confirmed their attendance. The funeral follows a week of tributes across the city, underscoring Jones's lasting impact on the cultural fabric of the island.
Later, we'll see how the RCMP's recovery of an ancient Peruvian bowl could reshape our heritage scene, plus more. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. Earlier today, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police announced the recovery of an ancient Peruvian ceremonial bowl that had been discovered in the city. The artifact, dating to pre-colonial times, was seized following an investigation into illicit antiquities trade. Representatives from the Peruvian embassy immediately contacted Global Affairs Canada, formally requesting that the bowl be returned to Peru. Canadian officials confirmed the request has been processed and that arrangements for repatriation are underway. The cooperation underscores the ongoing effort to combat illegal cultural property trafficking and to honor international heritage agreements. Authorities noted that the bowl will be transported under diplomatic protocols to the Peruvian Ministry of Culture, where it will be reintegrated into its original collection. Investigators said the case began after a local museum reported a suspicious acquisition, prompting a joint task force with provincial police. The swift resolution is being hailed as a positive step in cultural cooperation.
Premier Christine Frechette and Premier Tony Wakeham, alongside Prime Minister Mark Carney, will announce a new energy agreement for the Churchill Falls hydroelectric project in St. John's on August 17th. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Premier Christine Frechette and Premier Tony Wakeham, alongside Prime Minister Mark Carney, unveiled a bilateral agreement today to manage the Churchill Falls hydroelectric facility. The pact outlines shared operation responsibilities and a revised revenue split between Quebec and Newfoundland and Labrador. Negotiations that have stretched over several years culminated in a framework that aims to balance water flow allocations and long-term financial returns for both provinces. Officials said the agreement will also streamline maintenance schedules and support future upgrades to increase generation capacity. The three leaders signed the document in St. John, marking a new chapter in inter-provincial energy cooperation. The deal is expected to bring additional investment to the region and enhance grid reliability. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, St. John.
The Provincial Auditor General has warned that the government will have to trim at least $2 billion from its spending beginning in 2027 if it hopes to keep a balanced budget on schedule. The analysis, released this week, points to a narrow fiscal margin that leaves little room for the new spending pledges being floated by Quebec political parties. Officials say the cuts must be implemented across multiple programs to preserve the province's long-term financial health. While the auditor did not specify which departments will bear the reductions, the report underscores that any additional commitments could jeopardize the budget trajectory. Party leaders have been asked to factor the findings into their upcoming platforms as the province moves toward its fiscal target. The Auditor General's office also urged a systematic review of discretionary spending for further efficiencies. Current projections show a surplus only if the $2 billion cut is achieved.
An investigation revealed that a series of aging structures across the island had become dangerously unstable. In June, a vacant downtown building collapsed, sending debris onto the street and prompting an emergency response. City officials confirmed that the incident was part of a broader pattern of neglect, noting that several other properties, including a downtown hotel with visibly sloping floors, remained in use despite serious structural concerns. Elise Lacadet of La Presse reported that the city had yet to fully exercise its enforcement powers to remediate the hazards. The municipality said inspections were underway and that it would issue orders where necessary, but critics said progress had been too slow. Residents were being urged to stay clear immediately of the identified sites while authorities assessed the risk and prioritized repairs.
Quebec CEGEPs report a 40% rise in application rejections, leaving roughly 1,200 students without a spot as capacity remains limited. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Applications rejected at Quebec CEGEPs have jumped 40% this year, leaving roughly 1,200 hopeful students without a spot. Officials say the surge reflects a shortfall in available classrooms and labs compared with the previous intake, when acceptance rates were steadier. The shortfall has forced institutions to turn away a larger slice of the applicant pool, pushing many to reapply elsewhere or consider private training options. Counselors report a growing backlog of students scrambling to secure alternative pathways, while administrators warn that expanding capacity will require significant funding and infrastructure upgrades. Some campuses are already reviewing timetable adjustments to squeeze in additional classes. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Quebec.
Let's get a look at your night forecast with our weather team.
A steady high over the jet stream keeps tonight clear, while a lingering ridge locks in warm temperatures. On this date, the all-time high for Montreal stands at 30.7 degrees, recorded in 2015 during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed the city into the mid-30s for several days. The record low is 11.4 degrees, set in 2025 when a sudden Arctic blast slipped through the Great Lakes, dropping temperatures well below the seasonal norm. By contrast, today's climatological average hovers around 23 degrees high and 16 degrees low, placing the current 25-degree peak comfortably below the historic maximum, but well above the norm. The live radar shows a blank canvas across southern Quebec, no echo bands in sight. With the jet stream aloft flowing southwest at 132 kilometers per hour, the airstream remains dry and the high pressure sits steady over the region. That combination suppresses lift and prevents any convective development, so Montreal will stay clear through the night and into tomorrow. The next pulse of moisture won't arrive until the weekend. At 11 p.m. Montreal sits under a clear sky with a temperature of 21 degrees and humidity near 84%. The high pressure that has been holding steady keeps the air mass stable, while the jet stream overhead streams southwest at 132 kilometers per hour, reinforcing the ridge that sits over southern Quebec. With no fronts in sight, tonight will remain dry and the temperature will dip to 17 degrees by early morning. Daylight tomorrow will climb to a high of 25 degrees and a low of 16. The UV index will register 4, and winds will stay modest from the southwest. No weather alerts are in effect, and the atmosphere remains quiet as we move toward the 5-day outlook. Tuesday brings another warm spell with a high of 25 and a low of 16, but clouds will thicken, leaving the city overcast all day. Wednesday, the ridge weakens as a weak trough pushes east, dropping the high to 22 while the low stays 16. A 45% chance of rain will pepper the afternoon, the first measurable precipitation of the period. Thursday rebounds under a rebuilt ridge, delivering clear skies and a high of 24 with a low of 16, the most sunshine before the weekend. Friday returns to overcast with a steady high of 24, while humidity climbs, setting the stage for Saturday's partly cloudy mix and a high of 25 with a low of 17. The southwest jet continues to dominate, keeping temperature swings modest. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates, a look at what's on today, and a preview of the NHL season's top goalies. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Training camps around the corner, the Canadiens' rebuild is taking shape fast. Jakob Dobish is already drawing national attention before a single puck drops. NHL Network slots him 10th among all goaltenders heading into the new season. After a standout rookie campaign, the question now is whether he can sustain it. And for Montreal, the answer to that question changes everything about their playoff ceiling. Jard Davidson's first pro season was a study in extremes. 9 goals and 2 assists in just 13 games with Laval earned him an NHL call-up. Then the second half stalled badly, 7 goals and 7 assists over 40 games. After 24 goals the season prior, he finished with 16. The bounce-back story starts now. Prospect LJ Mooney isn't letting size define his ceiling. Point to Cole Caulfield and Lane Hutson, 2 undersized forwards who became cornerstones in Montreal, and Mooney sees a roadmap. If the Canadian system can develop small players into difference makers, Mooney believes he is next in line. Big questions ahead. Training camp will start answering all of them.
Thanks, Jason.
Welcome back. Montreal police have deployed an automatic license plate camera today, gathering vehicle data for a targeted investigation across the city. The technology records plates and characteristics as cars pass. Elise Marchand has the full story.
Police have rolled out an automatic license plate camera as part of a focused probe, officials said Tuesday. The mobile unit, positioned at a busy intersection downtown, snaps every passing plate and records basic vehicle details, creating a searchable database for investigators. Officers confirmed the system is being used solely for this targeted operation, aiming to gather movement patterns and identify suspects linked to a recent series of incidents. The technology captures images in real time, then stores them securely for later analysis. Authorities stress the deployment follows standard protocol and respects privacy guidelines. The camera will remain active for the duration of the inquiry, with data reviewed only by designated teams. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Montreal.
Residents of Blainville are confronting the U.S.-owned Stables hazardous waste landfill over plans to expand the site, citing risks of toxic exposure near homes. The protest continues as officials consider the proposal. Elise Marchand has the full story.
Protesters gathered outside the fence of the Stables hazardous waste landfill on the outskirts of Blainville, holding signs that read, "No expansion, protect our families." The crowd, made up of longtime residents and a few local environmental groups, voiced anger at a proposal to double the site's capacity. Stables, a U.S.-owned operator, plans to add new containment cells that would push the boundary closer to homes already within a short walk of the plant. Residents say the move threatens to expose the neighborhood to toxic chemicals, especially with prevailing winds blowing toward the nearby housing developments. The municipality has scheduled a public hearing for August 2026, but many fear the decision will come too late. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Blainville.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on The Wrap. Tonight's tribute to jazz legend Oliver Jones reminded us how music binds our city. We'll be back tomorrow with fresh stories and insight. Until then, stay safe and keep the conversation going. And as always, thank you for making Montreal's voice heard across the airwaves.